It's your Sorry. We're on 40 minutes time.
We are tWoTcast.
Yeah. That sounded like the remix of the intro. Episode 253.
All right, everyone, shut the f*** up.
We are tWoTcast! Wheel of Time. Reread a podcast. Explicit and R freaking rated. Jono's the wild card, always talking shit. Joe's the straight man. He's a total dick. Tom calls in if he's not too busy. We are tWoTcast!
You're listening to tWoTcast, the Wheel of Time reread podcasts. I got that right 2 times in a row now. Now covering Robert Jordan's The Wheel of Time, Book 1, The Eye of the World. With me is Jono.
Jono.
Joe.
Hey, Tom.
I'm Tom, study your math.
So you getting that right 3 times in a row is not impressive.
I don't even have coronavirus jokes anymore. They're all played out.
They're all played out. Oh, Jono.
Is there
the best one ever?
Is there a joke left to make that no one's made in the last 4 weeks?
Probably not, to be honest.
I don't think so.
I think the worst part is how many dumb jokes are still kind of funny, but at the same time, how many... Like, I saw one, 3 weeks ago, about like what I thought the apocalypse, like what I'd wear, and then what I am wearing, just the Big Lebowski, and I'm like, I do agree. Just wear a fucking robe when you go to the store, and I'm like, God damn it, I don't want to see that anymore. It's very frustrating.
Who thought the apocalypse would take so long to happen?
It's been take a while.
That's an amazing joke. What's wrong with that one?
All right, we're
Jesus,
back at
you
it.
thought the apocalypse would take so long.
All right, that's tWoTcast for this week.
Best way to find us is Twitter.
This is our second quarantine episode. Hopefully there's not too many more.
This is our second Zoom only episode.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, we've been in quarantine for a while.
Yeah.
This is like the 4th quarantine episode.
I guess I meant 100% remote episode. Usually me and John are in the same room together.
There was that one time when I had to be remote because of STDs. That was a different quarantine. That was probably like year 3.
That fell flat.
So did I.
So,
well, I was smoking. I couldn't respond, but also not what I was talking about at all.
Makes you feel any better. Guess what? I'm already drunk.
It never does make me feel. Whenever you start a sentence with that, which you do relatively frequently, it never makes me feel better, Jono.
Hey, if it makes you feel any better.
Well, I forgot my reading glasses.
Whenever you say that, I just know to expect something horrible.
Yeah. But Uncle Frank left his reading glasses, which made everyone feel better in the movie.
If it makes you feel any better, I left my reading glasses at home.
Do you guys have do you have anything for small talk here? Literally nothing in my life has changed since the last time we talked. Not one thing.
I mean, not really. We could do reading, watching, playing because I've been doing a lot of watching.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, we could talk about the JordanCon thing. This episode will come out before we record it, so maybe people can... Oh, wait. No, will it?
Yeah, maybe that's more self-serving. Let's do that.
It'd be a weird thing to talk about if it doesn't happen.
Well, they could,
by the way, JordanCon won't happen.
They could hear it before it's online at JordanCon. They might not hear it in time to put questions to Alan or Maria or anything. But anyway, let's explain what we're doing since I'm talking about it without explaining it. We're doing a JordanCon Online episode with Alan and possibly Maria.
Joe, it's JordanCon Line.
Yeah,
JordanCon Line. I know what they're calling it. I'm making it more obvious to our viewers, Tom.
Wow.
Anyway, we're doing an episode with Alan and possibly Maria, maybe separately, maybe together. We don't know. But if you guys have questions for them, you could tweet them at us because Alan is never on Twitter, nor is Maria. So they'll never see them. But also, if you just want to give us something to talk about on the live, quote unquote, live show that we will pre-record and then put on JordanCon Line.
Didn't you just say that this won't come out before we do it?
It may or may not. I don't know. If anything, it's a commercial to go to JordanCon Online and watch our or listen to our tWoTcast live episodes with Alan and Maria and hang out with people
fun.
at JordanCon Online.
Or better idea, guess what? We can just call them in anyway. We can just have it afterwards.
Me and Jono are going to go to the JordanCon hotel and just hang out on the porch until like 5 a.m, smoking cigarettes and drinking.
Look, we're just gonna do
normal.
We're gonna do it just like a talk show. With a host and a sidekick and a band leader, and then we'll have Alan on, and then we'll have Maria on, and that'll be that.
Perfect. Yeah,
and then we'll have somebody on to do Stupid Petrix or something.
If for some reason this episode does come out before JordanCon Online has happened, and for some freakish reason we haven't recorded it yet, by all means, give us something to tell Alan. I guess we'll announce this on Twitter too, and our Discord to kind of.
So Jono, you'll be Conan O'Brien, and Joe can be Andy Richter, and I'll be Max. I'll just put it.
Whoa! Why am I Conan O'Brien? Because I'm a ginger?
Yeah.
Yes.
Obviously.
Good enough.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, you're extremely pale.
Yeah, don't forget pale.
There weren't
when the sun hits your skin, it reflects like a sparkly vampire.
Where I'm at right now, if you were out here, you would burst into flame.
I actually did. That's why my hair is red.
Wow, it's a really bad ginger joke.
That doesn't make sense. Spoiler warning. We ready for this?
Wow, we're doing it already? Okay.
I don't know. What else do you have to talk about? My life is literally just watching TV.
I was actually going to ask, have you guys watched Ozark?
I haven't watched season 3. I'm getting good news, pretty drunk. I've just been drinking straight whiskey for the last 3 hours.
Yeah,
this isn't a spoiler for the show in any way, shape, or form. But Tom, do you remember the dude from not from Daredevil, from Iron Fist that was like the rich brother?
Chris?
Yeah, vaguely.
All right, so here's the point. He's in Ozark season 3, and he plays the main girl's brother, and he is like spectacular. I was just like, holy, who the fuck is this guy? And I was like, I recognize him from something, but what the fuck is he from? And then it took me like 3 or 4 episodes to be like, oh, Iron Fist. He's so different from those two characters that I had no idea that it was the same guy. It took me forever.
I'm really ready for season 3, but Lindsay hasn't seen the first 2, and like now that we're just trapped in the same house together, I can't watch stuff like that.
Well, it's really, really good. But aside from that, that guy just crushes it out. Like, he's Tom, crazy good in that show.
Tom, why don't you just have her watch it? Or watch it with her?
She has started.
So you're only like literally 2 days away from watching it because there is nothing else to fucking do.
Well, she works from home.
Tom, can you throw a lot at those birds?
You mean she
shut those birds up.
Birds are lovely. What are you talking about?
She works from home. Yeah, of course she makes the goddamn dinner, dude. We get it.
There's this amazing line from Curb Your Enthusiasm when he's like, he's about to be arrested or something, and he's sitting on his back porch and he's talking to his wife, and he's like, "No, and I always imagine what it would be like if there was no birds." And she's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Not that bad." And it's literally just this situation. There's just a nice little bird tweeting, and he's like,
"Fuck it."
Did you ever see? Did you see his PSA for the coronavirus?
No, I haven't seen it. All I saw was the Samuel L. Jackson telling us to stay the fuck home or whatever. He's like, everybody needs to stop complaining. This is a golden opportunity, once in a lifetime chance to just sit at home for a month and watch TV. It's never going to happen again. Yeah, I think you mentioned that last week.
Like, oh, shit.
I think you did. I can't remember. I
told you nothing new.
Nothing has changed.
It's all the same.
Man, entertaining a toddler trapped at home with her nonstop is becoming difficult.
I would say at least you have entertainment besides just the TV.
Well, that's true. Oh yeah, I do, and that is true. It is entertaining just playing with her and stuff.
I've been busy. Like I still work.
Yeah, I'm pretty busy at work too. Yeah,
I still work
a little bit, but I have the stuff I'm working on requires other people. And once I send the email, I'm like, well, I guess I'll watch TV for 2 hours until I hear back. So I can't do a lot.
I actually just do more phone calls now than I did before because I can force the conversation and get shit done.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Would it be weird to fire somebody in a pandemic?
That's been happening.
It's happening. Yeah, like Joe said, it's been happening literally every fucking day because there's no goddamn money going around.
Yeah. Well, Alessandro has squatters in his sublet apartment in New York, and he lives in Boston. And he can't do anything about it because they won't leave and they won't pay rent because they lost their job in the pandemic. It's not funny, but it's funny. It's funny that it's screwing him over. It's not funny that they lost their job and they're stuck in the apartment.
I think both things are hilarious.
Yeah.
I have a funny. Johnny, you'll appreciate this coronavirus story. We go on walks with Violet, and we went up to this like grassy area that's relatively flat. And I brought the soccer ball, and she was running around, and she'd kick the ball like once or twice. But then some random guy ran by and saw my Atlanta United hat and saw the soccer ball. And we played, we just passed the ball for like 30, 45 minutes because we could stay. We stayed a long distance apart. A total stranger just randomly was like, hey, I'll play. I was like, all right. We just dicked around and passed the ball back and forth for a while. And then he ran off and then we went home. It was fun. Perfect coronavirus social distancing fun situation.
Yeah. Don't touch it. No goalies allowed. No goalies allowed.
Yeah, just don't touch the ball. With your foot, it's fine.
The last 2 days, it was warm enough to like go outside and read with folding chairs, and then a guy with a piano or a keyboard and an amp and a guy with a drum set. They come outside and they play music for an hour for the apartment building in the parking lot.
That's entertaining.
Yeah, Grammy winners.
What?
I sent you that. It's the guy that did Afternoon Delight.
Oh yeah, that's right. Forgot about that. Well, Lauren's family's pretty musical, so that's been pretty fun too. Tim, her father plays the accordion kind of as a joke, but also he's pretty good at it. Yeah. And he'll just pull out the accordion and walk out in the middle of the cul-de-sac and just go like, and you're just like, this is the most insane shit I've ever seen in my life. But okay, we're doing it.
Probably entertains everybody.
I'm sure. Oh yeah, they come out of their houses. They stand on their porches and watch.
You know what's funny? I actually have like my opinion of like, you know what I'm gonna do is I start playing guitar again. Like I'm gonna read more books. I'm busy all the time. I've been playing some FIFA during work hours, during conference calls, but I actually haven't had extra time. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah, I haven't really either.
You know what I've learned about myself? Even with a month off, I won't clean the house.
Oh yeah, and that makes sense.
This place should be pristine.
Our house is pristine, Tom. You're a slack ass piece of shit.
It's always pristine, Joe.
You know, it's mostly Lauren. It's not me.
Oh, I know. All right,
just clarifying.
Yeah. By the way, Lauren or Joe, Lauren's period starting soon.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's an amazing not joke about the fact that I keep tabs on Lauren's period, and the new job is not just to tell Lauren, but to tell Joe 3 days in advance.
Good work, Jono. Yes, for the last 3 or 4 years, you've just been texting her on the day her period starts. Doesn't help me at all.
Yeah. So now, new job.
Well, you got a heads up.
You did not before.
How do you not have this down to a science at this point? Spoiler warning. This is our episode covering The Eye of the World, written by Robert Jordan, chapters 39 through 42, plus Bird.
I know, plus Bird. I know this is, I know we've said this like whatever episode this is like 10 times now or whatever, but I love that we're doing this book again. I thought I would be annoyed by it, but I love that we're doing this book again. It makes me happy every time you say The Eye of the World, written by Robert Jordan.
I'm enjoying it quite a bit. And you know what else I found? Even though this is like my 12th or so, possibly more of this book. That
I think like 15. Yeah.
The action
you're definitely more than 12.
The action goes a lot faster than I thought, or than I remembered. I'm like, here we go. It's the part we're on the road for 700 pages. And I'm like, no, that goes pretty quick.
Yeah, it's we're already we're done.
All right, well, chapter 39
is action. Like the road here is action. Like you see,
when they're by themselves for the first time, and then there's dark friends on their tail. It's kind of pretty entertaining.
Yeah, there's like you stop at an inn, there's a rapist. You stop at another inn, there's someone who wants to kill you with a smoking knife. You stop at an inn, there's a mirror draw. Like you don't. Like, it's not just fucking. We walked and walked. My shoes fell apart. Like
anyway, it gives me hope for when I get to like book 10 that it's like, hey, you know what? Maybe it's not as much baths and getting dressed as I thought it was.
No, book 10 is a garbage. That's
it's not garbage. Anything written by Robert Jordan isn't garbage.
Chapter 39. Here's a recap.
Yes.
Matt's sick and Peyton Fane is looking for Rand. He runs from a beggar when he goes outside. That's Peyton Fane. Climbs the palace wall, sees Logain, falls into the palace garden when a mysterious voice startles him. I don't remember who it was. I can't wait to get to the next chapter.
Joe, before we go anywhere.
Some kind of wood nymph.
How do you say Beggar?
B-E-E.
No,
what?
not you, Joe. But Tom?
Beggar?
It sounded like you said beggar, like bay.
Like beggar? Like the bay in San Francisco?
Yeah. Say it again.
Like a bay leaf?
Yes.
A beggar?
Like a beggar. Like a beggar.
Like a bagger? Like a bagel?
It's goddamn, it's just an E. It's not an A. It's not
He's been in Massachusetts too long.
A bagger. Get a coffee and a bagel and a bagger.
I was going to say it's a wicked beggar, but I can't do it. Can't pull it off. I don't even hear the difference.
So we know that this has to be in the show, or at least parts of this. I assume we know, because Logain has been cast. A bunch of Aes Sedai have been cast.
He's going to meet Elaine.
Yeah.
Yeah, this for sure. All of this.
This is absolutely happening. Yeah,
this is all.
And
big.
at this point, we're all. I mean, I'm assuming Rafe Judkins is not fucking with us and telling us the truth. Logain is in the book or in the episodes way before this, so we're probably going to have scenes of Logain before this too. Yes. So this has got to be in it.
Yes, and it's we'll build up into it, but it's very kind of transformational for Rand and for Logain to a certain extent later. But it's some pretty interesting shit here.
Can Logain? I forget. Can Logain see people's ability to channel, or can he see ta'veren?
So that's an interesting, almost retcon, really, because we never see Logain doing anything from Rand's point of view, which is the only one that's relevant. But at the same time,
he goes and hunts people that can channel just as much as Mazrim Taim does later too.
Yeah. So
maybe he can.
It's got to be the latter. I forget which one you said first. Well, it's got to be that he can see the channel, but he knows that Rand is fucking a blazing fucking saddle. That's not right. Blazing fucking light that just says like, holy shit, this guy can channel more than anyone, and they're holding me back. Like what a bunch of fucking dumbasses.
Are we sure it's channeling? I know he says it later in the books. I just can't remember.
No, we're not. According to Swan in book 2, though, being able to see ta'veren is a relatively rare skill, which of course makes sense because there's not that many fucking ta'veren. Why would
Google it?
No one know that. Like it's really not. There's like one every few hundred years, really.
Yeah, being able to see ta'veren. Well, I mean, doesn't Swan have like a sense of ta'verens too?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. It is because really it's just like a weird, like, I can see ta'veren. Like, how do you know that? When would you have learned that until got
Arthur Hawkling was the last like real one. I mean, I'm sure there's been others, or smaller ones.
Yeah. Like probably like Jane Farstrider would have been one. But at the same time, Jane Farstrider wasn't really ta'veren so much as like almost a manipulated piece of the pattern who was both important for dark and light. Like, when were the other goddamn ta'veren? Like, why do you know this?
Yeah, that is a weird thing that Swan knows that later. That's why I think we should go with the Logain can sense people that channel or something. That's why he looks right at him and then laughs or something or whatever he does.
It's Logain.
I hope that's how he laughs. Yeah,
that is not correct.
Wait,
Logain, dark and brooding, can't stop giggling in a high-pitched voice.
We get a hint that there's strange shapes outside the city at night.
You know what those are?
Trollocs. Those are Trollocs, guys.
We find that out. That's much later. It's like two chapters
it right
later.
Here, though. No, Joe's right.
Gil talks about it here.
Yeah.
We don't find out until 2 chapters from now.
We don't find out it's Trollocs. I mean, even Rand at this point thinks it's Trollocs, though.
Yeah, Gil talks about that and the beggar or the beggar.
Yeah.
Beggar?
Beggar.
Beggar.
Find our good friend
Delga. Delga.
Oh, Beggar.
Oh, it's better be the Beggar.
We find our good friend Lamquin guarding the inn.
Lamquin is kind of awesome in these chapters. He annoys me later with the whole Lenny, Perrin, Master Gil group.
Yeah.
Morgase, that whole thing. But he doesn't annoy me, but he's just not as cool. He's just not cool. He's just there, I guess is what I'm saying. He's actually kind of interesting here.
I wish he kept this persona.
I just picture him as that big dog from the Looney Tunes cartoons.
That just punches.
Yeah. Except with a mustache.
Every time.
Does he have a mustache?
I don't think he's got a mustache.
Oh, in my head he does.
That's kind of what I was asking. I was like, is that only in your head or did they say that? All right, the streets are packed. There's people are acting openly hostile. Some white cloaks get knocked around. No one even cares. They move the crowd just moves around them and keeps going.
That's how you know it's serious. No one's worried about the white cloaks.
That is a pretty good indicator that it's kind of serious.
We're pretty close to a
Dragon Con parade here.
We're pretty close to a riot here.
Yeah, tons of people are wearing white.
You're welcome. It reminds me.
There's an interesting discussion by Rand about how well the city is planned.
Rand is of course, a big civil engineer. Yeah.
He wants to be a city planner.
You can call my ex-sister-in-law. That'd be great.
The palace guards are keeping the crowds back, but Rand's kind of like, that looks like they might not be able to do it if this turns bad.
Just get to the Beggar.
Yeah, and then Patton Fane sees him in the crowd, and he's like, "You had the chance for true love," or something like that.
This asshole, Rand Alford, is tall.
You know who it is, right?
Taller than anyone in the crowd, and he's still like,
he doesn't recognize.
I gotta be third person in line.
I know. There's some people behind him like, "Hey, asshole, you 7-foot ginger, get out of the way!
Yeah.
I want to see the fucking false dragon."
Like I said,
5 rows back.
You get some fucking dickhead like Kid and I want to see the fucking false dragon, and then we want to see the ectoplasm. No, I don't think so, Dick.
Well, little do they know they're all seeing the dragon right now. They have the best view of the dragon possible. Just the back of his head.
You're welcome. I wanted to get more front and center. But as Tom said, it's the Beggar.
Yeah, and Rand does not recognize him. What kind of smells do you think are coming off of Fane right now?
Pretty bad if people are willing to bump into murderous white cloaks, but that guy hasn't worn deodorant in like a month.
It's definitely
and the crowd parts around him like a sea. Like the Red Sea.
It's not like he hasn't been wearing deodorant and then like taking casual strolls either. He's been running.
Yeah.
And eating trash and sleeping with trollots.
He is the world's worst version of that. Like I would walk 5,000 miles song.
Do you think he's been sleeping with Trollocs?
Yeah, sure. Definitely.
I mean, sexually.
Well, I mean, look, it's what they
maybe not willfully, but yes.
In fairness, he's the only one.
All right, so Rand runs off. Rand runs off because the beggar points at him, and he's got red wrappings, and he's like, "It's gonna cause a riot! A riot! A riot!"
How crazy does he look running out of that crowd and then just
And if anybody stops him, he's like, "That guy smells."
I feel like every single person that moved away from that beggar would understand completely why he would run the other direction if that guy pointed at him. They'd be like, "We get it. It's totally cool. That guy's a fucking weirdo. Watch out for him. Have you smelled him?"
He's just... I don't know. Rand does a great job of he runs away from everything right now.
Well, he immediately does feel foolish. Like he runs away and he's like, "There's no way that guy could follow me. I feel stupid. I'm gonna stop now." You know,
he must be in an outstanding shape right now.
He should be.
Not to mention, I mean, he's a natural runner.
And he has calorie counts low. He's been traveling on his feet.
On one foot.
He's been hopping.
He's been traveling on foot was the right thing to say, but you corrected yourself. I'm like, on feet?
Well, he said on a foot.
I said on a foot.
Yeah, he said on a foot.
And then, so then to correct yourself, you're like on feet.
Wait, on feet.
Both wrong.
He has his feet underneath him.
He went from 1 foot traveling to 4 or 8. You know, like, I don't know what we're doing here.
Listen, I was drunk at noon, so you know.
Well, it has to be.
I can't be held responsible for this stupid shit that comes out of my mouth right now. I'm like, hey, I got this far into this chapter.
So he finds this hill. And
this is something I actually want to see in the show because I just want to see what this looks like in other people's minds.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. I mean, like, it just seems like such a, let's build the castle wall up, but make it easily approachable if you just know how to climb a slope. And then let's make the outside of the wall rough-hewn enough to where you could just have plenty of foot and finger holds the whole way up.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of the wall, not a guard tower, just a quiet, peaceful garden.
Yeah.
Like, no big deal. Like, what is that going to be? It seems so strange.
It's kind of tough to understand. Like, I get the idea that let's pretend like, you know, the wall is 40 feet tall for the inner city palace.
Yeah. I mean, I know what it looks like in my brain, but I know I'm wrong, I guess is what I'm saying. I can't wait to see what they make it look like.
And then it's a 20-foot, you know, kind of like escarpment that just doesn't have anything growing on it. So it's kind of like a high slope.
Well, it has stuff growing on it, but it's like all dried and dead and brambly.
Yeah. So it's 20 feet tall to climb, and there's no, like you said, Joe, it's just kind of rough hewn. Like, and there's no guard towers anywhere in the next.
If all the vegetation wasn't dead, and they actually had a spring, it would probably be even easier to climb.
That's a great question.
Yeah. That's a fair point. Yeah.
So he just gets on top, but somehow the wall is thin enough here where you can only sit on it, stand on it.
Is he just this bored that he's so determined to see Logain that this seems like a good idea? Like, wouldn't you, if you were Rand, just be like, all right, you know what? It's probably a good idea if I just go back to the inn. Some weird beggar guy found me and pointed at me. I should probably just go back and hide.
I'm not afraid of a beggar. I'm going to climb.
But I really want to see Logain.
It's amazing how he doesn't notice.
Fucking wall.
He doesn't notice that the wall is part of the palace wall, and the palace is like 20 feet.
Yeah, how do you not know? That's what I'm saying. How do you not understand?
None of this makes sense.
Palace wall.
You know who I blame the most, though? Ogier, who built this.
I know. Obviously, they're so like organic in their shape building that it doesn't logically make sense that it's part of the palace somehow, and he just climbs it not realizing.
This is exactly like that one exhaust port on the Death Star.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? And they use it later. Matt uses it later or something.
Yeah.
Like, one of them uses it like 7 books from now.
Again, just like, I think maybe Jordan had just like watched some Star Wars movies. Is like, holy shit. Yeah. Easy. Because they use the same thing with another Death Star later on. God damn it.
The other Death Star? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same way Matt and Rand both get into the Stone of Tyr the exact same way. They just climb a wall.
It's
no big deal.
I remember at one point I was like, wow, this is a skill set.
Impregnable fortress. I can get in there in 5 minutes.
It's just so audacious that no one's ever dared do it before.
Yeah.
Except these farm boys are like, well, it's right there.
Who would?
There's a window right there. I just need fireworks to blow it open. So anyway, he's so determined to see Logain, he climbs up this fucking wall and falls into the palace like an idiot. Tom's taking a piss.
That's true. No, not. I'm in the elevator.
Yeah, so obviously what happened...
But he falls into the palace. Why? Because there's a mysterious voice.
Elaine speaks and Rand jerks erect and jerks himself off the edge.
Yeah, and then we're into chapter 40.
I like the fact that Elaine, in my brain, I always forget that Elaine and Gawain are in the tree next to him. Like I always think of it as them just being on the ground and like being like, hey, look at that guy, you know, and pointing, but they climbed a tree to see Logain. They're as dumb as he is.
Is there no window in the palace that affords a better view?
That's what I'm saying. Well, maybe they're all under guard, or the guards are like, don't come down this hallway. You'll be too close to the false dragon.
Yeah, that's correct. And Moraine says, like, you were not supposed to be looking at it. So like they were supposed to like, kind of be somewhere that they couldn't see it. So they're like, well, we'll just go to the garden, which we know can climb 30 feet and then see everything.
You say Moraine or Morgaze? You confused me because I thought you said Moraine.
Morgaze. Yeah,
Morgaze, yeah.
tells them. Morgaze tells them later on, but you should not have been watching.
My least favorite character right after Elaine. Go ahead.
It's 100% my least.
Morgaze.
Well, Elaine takes it for me, but
character. Like, well, we'll get to it. Fuck it, we'll get to it.
She's not bad now. She doesn't bother me until later.
Anyway, let's go on.
Chapter 40, The Web Titans.
All right, so Rand meets Elaine and Gawain, and then he meets Galad, and then he's taken to the Queen by the guards. Elaine says some stuff. Morgaze lets him go. That's the recap.
That's a good recap.
That's pretty much what happens.
It is a good recap, except the chapter starts with Moraine and Logain eating dinner with Rand.
Yeah, I decided to skip that.
And then suddenly Bala Gazama's
2 paragraphs.
And then is there.
So I was going to say earlier, God damn it. Rand's climbing skill, I remember when I first was reading this, I was like, or when I was rereading it, I was like, I don't remember Rand's climbing skills coming back together. Like, it just seems like a one-off situation where he's good at this. But then I was like,
nope.
You know what? Not true. Down a tier, exactly. So
Mountains of Mist.
We also see Elaine's manual healing. She talks about
that's really weird. She's really into the healing thing, and even to the point where Gwyn's like, oh, she finds birds and things all the time. You'd think she's going to be like Yellow Aja. She doesn't ever pursue this.
It's less healing and more taking in strays.
Yeah, that's exactly
fair enough.
Yeah.
So she's like Marty McFly's mother. I know what you're saying.
So what I love about this, though, is that every reader is already like, well, clearly, dude, you fell into the palace. This is the daughter heir. And Rand's kind of like,
who is this beautiful woman dressed like an Aes Sedai?
Wait a minute. Then she says, like, more and more hands, like, it's weird being obviously tutored by everyone in the world because I'm so important for the city. He's like, wait, where am I? Is your mom the queen?
I mean, he did hit his head really hard, Jono.
Yeah, I guess that's good enough. Because he's a goddamn moron.
I like how he describes her right away as having a lofty attitude.
Yeah,
which, as we all know, is just a nice way of saying bent.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And I do love the fact that Gawain wants Elaine to fuck Rand real fast.
Yeah, he's like, she should marry someone like you. Yeah, when does he lose his mind?
I think it's after the tower split.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now it's rooted in actual reason to lose your mind. So I'm upset now that you made that make sense.
So Galad walks in. That Galad's so
he
hot.
interrupts.
Yeah, he's so hot right now.
He has the most well-turned calves, by the way. There was a poll on Twitter.
You really just made a nice reference between Zoolander and Galad, and it just made me think immediately of fucking Billy Zane.
Billy
Weird
Zoolander?
connection.
Oh, you mean Bella Zagazama's a man?
I mean, Luce Theron.
Telemon!
Or has he been Alzamon in that?
Billy Zane is Ishmael.
Ileana.
Ileana.
I feel like you have to
I only watched that once.
Ileana.
You haven't watched that once, Tom?
Oh, I only watched it once. I don't even know if I watched the whole thing.
I did watch the whole thing, but I also only watched it once. And me and Jono have been joking about like watching that for the show for no reason at all and like making fun of it for like an hour.
It's an abomination.
It really is. But it would be a really good like prequel to watching the actual show and talking about it.
Doesn't it make you scared for the show? Because the people that made that were like, this is good. And we got Billy Zane.
No, they didn't. They knew exactly what they were doing.
Though. They're not the same people, so it's okay.
Yeah. They're not.
But also, real quick,
but they're not.
Got this. Our first episode of Rewatch, we should just do that piece.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a good prequel to before the actual show. Like,
you're watching 12 episode 1 of the show. And it's Ileana.
It's called Winter's Dragon.
It's the whole thing.
And then just call it a day. Just put that out like on like a Tuesday and then do a real episode on a Friday.
Are we going to talk about how hot Galad is or what?
That Galad is so hot right now.
Is he the hottest guy in the book?
Yes, he is.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's universally understood that he's the hottest guy in the book, just like it's universally understood that Celine is the hottest chick in the book.
Well, it's Lanfear. Lanfear is
and Berylane is right behind her.
No, Lanfear is hotter than Celine.
People think that Aram's pretty hot.
That Aram is
true,
hot.
but he's not top tier, Tom.
What about Will Alcine?
He's hot too. But I feel like they would have done the same thing they did in the encyclopedia, in that like they had like that fucking like 1 through 21 numbers, and like Galad was as hot as Lanfear, Will Alcine, and like people like there's a few others that are like in that kind of like 19 to 20 range that are not that 21 number.
I don't know what any of that means. All right, so Galad shows up and he's
he immediately gets pissed off and runs off to get the guards.
as he should.
Yeah, I get,
should he? Should he?
a little. Yeah. I mean, it's a dude who dropped in
With a sword.
Yeah.
And it has a hair mark on it. He doesn't know that though.
Take the sword, and then all of a sudden it sounds like a dude who fucked up and was trespassing. All right, well. But, you know, in fairness to our buddy here, who is a admitted perfectionist, any and all intruders are supposed to be reported.
Yeah, I don't really think he's wrong here.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
I mean, he's a tattletale bitch, but he's not wrong.
Yeah.
Those fucking kids are like, it's fine. I'm like, is it?
And he's like, you guys are idiots. He could kill you in a second. You don't even know.
Yeah. Also, it turns out he's the most dangerous man in the world.
Is it interesting or annoying that it's Talivor, or is it fine? Is it nothing?
It's fine. It's kind of expected because we just want to use names again.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's not that important.
Yeah, just another character from this book that never goes away.
Yeah, I gotcha. So Lane protects him as her guest, and Rand's mad. Everyone expects him to know what to do in the throne room, which is pretty funny.
I'll be honest. I kind of like, Joe, to your point, like I would have liked. We see sometimes later on in books, like I think 4, 5, 6, like how Morgaze, goddamn, Morgaze kind of was like, I actually saw the Dragon Reborn in the flesh when he was just a nervous little fucking kid. I would have loved more from other characters this year, like Basil Gill, like Talivor, that actually, and Landwin too. All three of these people are mentioning this fucking shit. Like they saw like Rand and like their thoughts on him. Because how are you not fucking talking about the person who, whether or not you believe is the Dragon Reborn later on, or later on in the books, like how are you not talking about this? That you fucking met
all the time. All the time.
Like that's 100% a relevant conversation piece. And I feel like that's almost, why the fuck are you not talking about it?
You can get laid off that for a month at least.
Seriously. Like, why do you think there's a fucking 1,000 goddamn, like adolescents and teenagers coming in town to go see Logain? All these people are in town to see Logain. Like, they're here to talk about that shit. You saw the real trick. Fucking talk about it, you dumbass.
Jesus Christ.
Thank you.
Fair enough. I mean, all that's fair enough. That's a good point. Never thought about it that way before.
I like that it's Talivor and there's no throwaway characters in these books, really. Like, it's pretty rare.
Yeah, if anything, they come later when they don't have time to bring them back, like in the later books, like they're just like, and even those people are like, they're at the last battle. They're probably dead, like kind of thing. Like they're there, but they're not.
That's, to a certain extent, I think that's a problem with why, like there's a few characters in book 13 and 14 that are very kind of like, don't remember them being that important, but here they fucking are. And you're like, well, there was a whole well of characters you could have drawn on that wouldn't have been throwaway, that would have had like a miniature amount of information we could have augmented. Like
not being able to let anyone go probably ended up being a problem toward the end.
Yeah.
True.
Like, I don't need to know what's going on with every single person we've ever met, but let's focus on the main characters.
I would have liked there was this one, what's the guy from the Stag and Lion was jerking off. That's it.
Yeah, I would have been happy if Hay could come back.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the dancing Cartman?
Well, that's different. But yeah, the answer is yeah. By the way, well done remembering the goddamn end.
Well, it was a question on last year's live JordanCon episode of tWoTcast. That's the only reason I know that.
tWoTcast.
That was a great episode.
It was a really good episode. I agree.
It was a really good idea. I'm glad nobody ever ripped it off.
Looking at you.
Sick bird!
It's 7:26. We got 3 minutes until the real Jeopardy. you guys do realize that Jeopardy always starts at 7:29, not 7:30.
All right, so Rand is brought before the queen.
Yeah, so I didn't really write any specific notes here, but you guys want to discuss Elida in general, or?
I mean, this goes on for a long time, but there's, at least for me, there's two super interesting parts. Obviously, the stuff Elida says about him, and then I love the part when they reveal that he's wearing a hair-marked sword, and everybody freaks out, and Brian says that it fits him.
Yeah, that's amazing. That part is amazing. I just wrote Brian backs him up, but like obviously not backing him up as a friend, but you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, he's like, oh, he owns that sword. And you're like, oh shit. And they're like, and Morgase is even like, that's impossible. He's too young. And he's like, no, it's his. You can tell.
It makes everybody instantly afraid. Like, it puts a big legend on the hair-marked sword, like right up front in the books too, which like kind of goes away later. Because obviously everyone in this room thinks he must be at least 10% capable of killing every single guard in the room.
Basically.
and later it's just like, all right, a guy with a hair-marked sword is a good sword fighter instead of like a Jedi master.
Yeah,
that's true. It does. I don't know if it doesn't lose like too much status, but you're right. It becomes mildly commonplace.
So if I can, of course, do my bullshit Jono shit, I got a few things.
Yeah.
As you can imagine, I'm annoyed, and I love that when he finally realizes it. Sorry, Shanda's being a bitch, like always. Hold on.
It would be a lot easier if you told us when Shanda wasn't being a bitch.
I know. I love that when he realizes that, like, wait a minute, this garden's green. That's not supposed to fucking happen. And, like, it shows, your brief thought is like, oh, look, Elida's a healer. Elida's kind of, like, here to kind of, like, try to restore some, like, rightness to the world, which, by the way, that's not quite.
She just likes flowers, dude.
Yeah, ends up she's very, very selfish.
I like how Elaine's throwaway line is like something along the lines of like, yeah, she told me that she could do it for one farm in the land, but only them, and then all the other farms around them wouldn't be growing food, and you're just like, then do that.
Yeah.
like it doesn't make it better that you can only do it for one farm. It just makes you still
it's a hard choice, but
yeah,
at the very least, someone's making food.
Yeah, you just do a lottery, and then you go, okay, you're the one, Almond Bunt. You have apples this year, kind of thing, and then that's it.
No, it wasn't fair, so we didn't give anyone food. All right, yeah. Welcome to not capitalism. That's even worse. Real quick, so another one. Do you know how lucky this dumbass is that he fell into a garden when he was in Andor versus Teeter or Ilion? Like, at least Andor has peasants, and Andor has like something of a middle class. Because I get infuriated when I think about it for the guy. Like, all I did was just try to climb a wall to look at Logain. Accidentally trespassed, had no idea. There was no sign. Fell into something, and then I got fucked up. Like, yeah, that sucks.
You get infuriated?
A little bit. I mean, you can understand how angry he would be. Like, what did he do wrong? He climbed a wall. And they're like, you know what? You're going to go to prison. You'll be okay. Just prison for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I like how Gawain is like, it's just going to be a couple of weeks. Don't worry about it.
Well, as I said earlier, it should be pretty apparent the wall is attached to the palace.
But that's, like we talked about, clearly it's not very apparent.
I don't know. If I was the king and some random dude fell into the palace garden and was talking to my kids, I'd be like, yeah, you're going to be in jail for a couple of weeks, buddy.
I think it's bullshit on both people. Like, you should actually have a better, fucking put a guard tower around there. Put something.
I mean, what if somebody climbed a wall at the White House to get a view of a parade and fell inside? I'm pretty sure they'd be in jail for at least a couple of weeks while they figured out what the fuck was going on.
If the person was an actual threat or not, or.
But everyone knows what the White House looks like because you can see the goddamn thing through the fences.
I guess.
Rand didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah, I guess.
There's also guys on the roof of the White House with subatomic machine guns, but whatever.
That's not his problem. Fell inside.
Subatomic.
So one of the things that's always struck me here, and I mentioned it a little bit about how Rand's got to feel, and like now it's even worse. Like it's not just like he fell into a garden like a dumbass, and now all of a sudden, like Elida comes forward, right? Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, Morgaze, clearly a MILF. But Elida, her foretelling is so ironically fucking her. Like, the only reason she's here in Caemlyn is because of a foretelling she had more than 20.
Yeah.
And where she's like, the throne of Andor is the key. And, of course, you think she'd be a little smarter because not a year or 3 later, the throne of Andor changes drastically because Tigraine runs away and all that shit. But still, she's 100% the throne of Andor. And so she finds Elaine, who is, she can channel, that kind of thing. So she assumes this is the girl of record. Wrong. She's a cunt.
Whoa!
Use Robert Jordan's word.
He's not wrong.
Yeah. After reshuffling some letters, those are Robert Jordan's words.
I mean, I agree, but, it's...
So anyway, so she's ironically standing 3 inches from the dude of Destiny, and she doesn't realize it. It gets just really kind of funny.
She senses something important in him and tries to keep him in prison.
Yeah,
fucking bitch.
We don't need. I think we did it last time. We talked about how Elaine doesn't realize how, this is my friend from the Two Rivers who's a loyal subject. Like, good Lord, dumbass! Everyone knows anything west of fucking Whitebridge is out. I don't. What the fuck's wrong with you? They don't even have soldiers that far west. But all right.
Well, Morgaze says as much, but yeah, I agree. She should have known that.
Yeah, she should absolutely know that. But my question has always been, is this even a real foretelling that that she has for Rand, and that how from now on Andor marches towards pretty much towards death, towards doom. That kind of thing. And then she says really quietly, this man stands at the heart of it. But she's able to whisper. Like, she's able to contain it. Most of the time, every foretelling we ever see is much more like, almost like a fucking...
like you get hit with lightning.
It's like your neighbor. It's your original house.
Yeah.
He just kind of like loses his mind. Also, Tom, what is on our video right now?
Tom likes to put his thumb on his phone.
It's my dick.
Your thumb looked like a weird, like a fucking gooey duck. Have you ever seen one of those?
I haven't, but
a weird.
I'll keep that in mind. That's what I heard.
Duck is actually it's a type of snail underwater that looks like a penis.
Great.
Excellent.
Yeah.
In terms of Elida's foretelling, I think here's the thing. Like, if this is the only foretelling she'd ever had, I'd be like, okay, well, the throne of Andor is important. I should go there. Like, that makes sense. But like, if you know you have the foretelling and you've foretold things, you know that it's not necessarily like exactly what's on the surface. You need to like research it and think about it before you're just like, and this is the foretelling, like kind of, it's like, you didn't put any thought into this at all. Like, does it mean the throne then? Does it mean the throne in the future? Does it mean does it literally mean the throne? Does it literally mean the people that are sitting on the throne? Like, there's a million things that like,
it's just the chair.
Yeah, the chair. It's very important.
Tom, you were anyway.
Well, she's like superpower for foretelling. She has these a fair amount of times where she's just like, oh, I know what's going to happen, but she's horrible at interpreting it.
But does she have them that often? We don't know, like, what is a normal amount of foretelling, right? Like
there are times where she does it where I'm just like, you're delusional.
Mhm.
But we see later on when after she's a Newland, when what's her cunt is her keeper, and like it takes her by storm, and like it's you're like
Alvy Aaron?
no, what's her cunt?
Yeah.
I was right.
Yeah, he got it.
I love Alvy Aaron.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's when that midrill butler comes in and he's like, more tea, my lady?
Yes, actually, what you can pour me some tea, my lady. You got to look at that contract with your butler.
So Morgase is in characteristically wise and level-headed and releases Rand.
Yeah, and that's fine. We can cut off my bullshit. Yeah, so that's, like 100% the right call is. First off, he's done literally nothing wrong besides like Austin Powers. Oh, I fell over, and like.
Actually, if he would have done the Austin Powers, oh, I fell over in the throne room, I'm certain he'd be in jail. They'd be like, I don't think you're taking this very seriously.
You know what I think an interesting point goes back to what Tom was saying earlier, how all the people in the room are like, holy shit, and they all like get ready for a fight. But it never happens. And I feel like if that's not an indicator of him not being a threat, nothing else is. You know, like he's in the room with the Queen and Elida and Gawain and Elaine and all these guys, and he just sits there and he goes, I'm just a shepherd. Like, I've no this sword, don't look at the sword.
He also could have killed killed Elaine and Gawain immediately.
Right,
Yeah.
like 10 times over in their minds at least. Probably even in reality.
Said, oh, look. Oh, I fell over on your sword.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like it's just one of those things where it's like, well, maybe she's trusting him because he clearly is now currently in the opportunity to assassinate or do whatever he was there to do, and he's still not doing it. He's just like going like, hey, I just want to leave. You know, like, I mean, that's an obvious sign that he's not there to kill someone, I think.
To your point, like, I love the fact that she's like, I kind of recognize the fact that his voice very kind of, obviously he talks like this. Yeah, I don't know what the two Rivers accent sound like.
No, but you nailed it.
Make it as awful as possible.
That would be fucking fantastic. If they all sound like young Forrest Gump.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what they're going to do. It's going to be kind of fascinating because you want it to be an accent that makes sense where like, oh, they're coming back one. But the dude's got to be.
It's going to be some sort of British.
Yeah. Is it just an American accent in the middle of British? Like, that guy sounds like a fucking idiot. Like,
that's all it is.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's from America.
Yeah. So there's that. And there's also just the fact that, like, he's 8 feet, you know, like he's 7 foot tall almost. Like, he's like, 6'6" to 7 foot tall. Taller than every one of them. He's redheaded. He looks nothing like anything. He's like, where are you from? I'm from Mexico. What the fuck are you talking about? You're a 7 tall ginger.
You're not from Mexico.
What the fuck is wrong with this guy? And
you're a Viking.
Yo soy de Mexico. And it's like, all right, other than a little bit of that, it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So
I feel like this got racist.
Yeah,
not necessarily.
Yeah, really. I think we're like right on the line.
It's a little bit rackist.
So cross it.
Jono, when me and Tom were in Ireland with our family, we were out back at a bar smoking, and 2 girls, this is how clearly Irish we look. 2 girls walked up to me and Tom and started talking to us for like 2 seconds, thinking maybe we're alone. I don't know. Or maybe they just wanted a light and that was literally it. But we opened our mouths and like, holy shit, we thought you were from down the street, not some Two Rivers redneck.
So they talk to us because we're incredibly good looking, you fucking idiot.
And then we opened our mouths and we sounded like Americans and they were like, fuck you. See you later.
And as the wrap up for that, this chapter ends up with him kind of walking out, finally getting away from everything. And this is kind of a very formative set of questions again for Rand of just kind of like, well, I don't look like anyone I'm supposed to be.
Well, he knows he's not, well, not adopted, but he knows his mom isn't from there. So like he's still under the assumption that for some reason Tom isn't muting.
Yeah. Sorry. Cool muffler guy drove by.
He's suffering under the assumption that like, although he knows Tam's not his real father. Like at this point, like it's clear, right?
I talked about this a couple episodes ago, but like he's got to be putting the pieces together.
I don't think he is.
I think he is, but he's also in a bit of denial.
Yeah, it's the denial of the Dragon Reborn part for sure, and channeling in general. But like,
because like whenever it comes up, he just doesn't want to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's
rocking his world.
I think it's False Dragon, and
I'm reaping all the benefits.
I think, God damn it! I think it's almost False Dragon because that vision from, once again, people you shouldn't trust is goddamn Balzamon, but he is not trusting. But all those names, Squire, Amsalon, like Davian, and like all those names are going to stick in his craw about like being something that's trumpeted. I don't think he even believes that he could be the Dragon Reborn.
We're going to stick in his craw.
Yeah,
it's going to stick in his craw.
Tonight,
most certainly. It would stick in my craw.
I want to stick in your craw.
I mean, agreed.
All right, chapter 41.
Yeah, I was just going to say that they go up through the Sally port, and as we all know, that's where you dock your boat in the Sally.
What's the title of 41?
Old Friends and New Threats.
All right, Rand talks to Master Gil and Loyal about what just happened. Some White Cloaks show up. Moraine and crew arrive. Matt tries to kill Moraine. Rand has brought a new Trolloc war to Caemlyn.
I really like how he runs back to the inn because he realizes that Elida is going to be that close behind him. At least he's not that stupid,
Is it so weird to see somebody running? Is nobody in Caemlyn like physically fit that no one jogs?
Is there no messengers?
Messenger, my lord. I feel like
I like how Lamgwin's just sitting outside the inn petting a cat, like, hello, Mr. Bond.
Yeah. By the way, there's good money in cats.
Actually, that's true. If I'm in New York City and somebody runs by me in like shorts and a t-shirt and tennis shoes, I'm like, yeah, okay. But if somebody runs by me in like just jeans and a button up, I'm like, what are you doing?
And a sword.
and a sword. For sure.
Like, holy shit, what's that guy doing?
I would, and actually, if it was a 7 foot tall ginger with a sword, I would definitely take a picture.
And then a bunch of guards come by like a minute later. You're like, he went that way.
Yeah, he's wearing red. Everyone else is wearing
white. I know
white.
Exactly who you're looking for. He ran that way.
Yeah, that's true. I'd absolutely try to get a cop's attention and just be like, hey.
Are you seeing this?
You
Obviously
see
stole someone's purse.
See sword guy over there? He's fucking 10 feet tall. Trucking down the middle of fucking Fifth Avenue.
So he tells Loyal and Gil the story. And I love it first. They're just kind of like, he's just like, I fell off the fucking fence. And then there's the daughter.
Yeah.
Like, like you saw the queen, right? He's like, I did see the queen. Like, oh, okay.
She's like, and a princess thinks I'm pretty. And they're like, get over yourself, Rand. You're son of a bitch.
I know. That actually happened. Like,
oh, you guys wouldn't believe it.
My
I met 4 of the most famous people in the world. Oh, my God.
He's like, what, did you run into the banker? He's like, I did, but I totally forgot about it. All these other amazing things happened. And they're like, get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of my inn. Not your friend Tom Maryland's, though. I'll pay for you to leave.
I enjoyed your stories before of you're on the run and you're from the country, but now I don't even believe you at all. You're clearly an Aielman.
And to add fuel to that fodder, ends up there's some White Cloaks there who are looking for people from the Two Rivers.
Yeah. Did they get there before Moraine, or is this while she's crisscrossing the city looking for their scent, so to speak?
Crisscrossing. But I don't like this. To me, has always been one of those confusing episodes where I'm like, wait, it doesn't make sense because the whole point here is. What's that?
No, oh, what? I didn't say anything.
Oh, good. It doesn't make sense to me because they scattered their horses, left ahead of him. Presumably, were never followed by, and they would have gotten on the road the fastest way out of there. So how are the children there before Moraine Land and Company? Because they would, if they.
I think the horses is the biggest point there, because it's not like they just cut the lines and patted their asses and sent them off to the trees. They were like a lightning fucking bolt came down and those horses ran. It wasn't like, hey, scatter a little bit, get out of here, shoo. It was like
if they had
they're scared.
as many as they could and moved to the main road, I guess we can kind of assume that Moraine and Lan and everybody were still going through the woods and avoiding the roads.
Maybe
that would
taking
slow
precautions. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I guess maybe. But it just seems.
Also, even without horses, they just make the army double time it.
That's
But
true.
who do they think? But they've got horses. The other Lan and company.
Horses.
Yeah, but
they
they're
got
like
horses.
but they're like walking through a gully. These guys are on the straight
Just a gully.
path. They probably never left that gully.
To me, I get confused, but that's annoying Jono.
Yeah, that's a quibble.
I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't be that weird if the White Cloak started stopping at every inn, and he's like, "I have 20 more inns to visit today, you piece of shit," and that kind of thing. Like,
yeah, honestly,
it wouldn't be that weird if they had just gotten started and like they were like looking for them, and they happened upon that inn relatively early, while Moraine's crisscrossing the city looking for, the smell of Matt's dick.
I feel like it's the opposite, though. I feel like that the fucking White Cloak should be checking in every village that may have people inns. They should be asking questions. They're not just going to Caemlyn. I mean, I know that Perrin did say we're going to Caemlyn, if I remember. So I guess they could potentially cut out the middleman. But I feel like the whole conversation is. If I'm Perrin,
when they get rescued like the way they did,
yeah, I'd probably not go to Caemlyn like I told everyone. I'd the fuck west.
Doing it anyway.
Fuck out of here.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It only took like 5 people to take out their whole armies. What about Basil Gill standing up to the White Cloaks in the Queen's blessing and defending Caemlyn and kind of the Queen, and then that's all he does later in the book?
I mean, I thought I just wrote Gil as a hero, but I mean, like, yeah, that's kind of cool.
But he's like, yeah, who would have ever thought I'd be a hero standing up to White Cloaks? And then he literally does that in the middle of White Cloak power.
That's true.
I shouldn't say White Cloak power too loud outside.
He got a taste for it, Tom.
Say cloak quietly, but everything else loud. You're fine.
Just say white power in the middle of white power. White power.
Yeah, cloak is silent. It's a silent word. I saw it on Jeopardy.
So Moraine arrives and starts asking for Rand and Matt.
White
and Rand's
power,
like, I never mentioned Matt. And he runs into the kitchens like an idiot because it could have been anybody.
This is, well, I mean, he's like, wait a minute, I never said Matt's name.
Yeah,
well,
he's a pretty keen detective.
Yeah.
Well, I love it. Well, the assumption is based on the fact that like Elida's the one hunting him. So she never, but I'm like, there's so many other people hunting you.
It's just like every detective story ever where it's just like, I never said the victim was poisoned. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Rand could be decent. He could be a decent detective.
Yeah. Honestly, my thought went to what is it? Tri-Wizard Tournament I never said it. It's Barty Crouch Jr.
I mean, your thought should go to that since everything's a ripoff of Harry Potter.
Exactly.
They're reunited and it feels so good.
I'm pretty happy about it.
It's pretty, yeah, I agree.
It's
We're barreling toward the finale at this point.
Yeah.
It goes from the most upbeat to fucked up reunion in like 3 sentences.
Are you talking about because Perrin's all ashamed of his wolf dick?
Yeah, like Perrin looks down at his like red rocket and he's like, well, that's not normal.
And then just like, where's Matt? No, he's Gollum now.
See, everyone thinks he's looking down to keep his eyes from like glowing in the light, but really he's looking down at his wolf dick.
He's just like it never comes up in the books, but his dick definitely changed along with his eyes.
He's just staring at the outline of his cock against his pants.
He's like, son of a bitch, red rocket's out.
Yeah.
Old lipstick dick is here to stay.
I can see the pubes I've got growing up my shaft. No human has that.
So Gil welcomes them in, and Moraine's like, what's with all the cats? You have a rat problem? And he's like, oh, they're all over the place. And there's weird shapes outside of the city. She's like,
what is this Master Gil accent?
No!
Oh, there's rats all over the place.
Tom's
I don't
dead.
know.
Hooray for friendship.
He's like the mystical homeless man somebody encounters in the movie.
Watch out for the strange shapes in the countryside at night.
Master Gill is just Bagger Vance.
You want to use the wedge?
Did you ever see that Key and Bill bit where it's the magical needles?
Yes, exactly. You sound exactly like that.
It's one of the best ones.
Master Gill is Morgan Freeman from Bruce Almighty. Fucking
Or any movie. Just any movie he's in.
when they go up to see Matt and he starts mocking them, I thought about this a minute ago when I said all the Two Rivers people sound like young Forrest Gump. And I thought of this part of and I was just imagining them in the room talking, and instead of Matt saying mean things to them, he just kept making that sound he made at the principal when he fucked his mom. It's like, and everyone getting upset, fleeing the room.
I mean, that's kind of what he does.
Basically.
This is my favorite part of the movie.
So basically, if you get infected by Shador Logoff, you just become young Forrest Gump making fun of the principal.
That's really good.
Anyone ask you a question? You're lucky, boy.
Oh, Nanabe, so pretty.
Queen, just as pretty.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say about Matt being all twisted and evil right here, but like, he doesn't really do a whole lot of bad things. It basically is just like
trying to kill Moraine.
Well, yeah, but that's a minute later. I'm saying to the Two Rivers people, like, they come in and it's like, can you even trust them? Oh, look at Nynaeve, so pretty. And you're just like, that's your evil version of Matt?
Well, in fairness, he's
Egwene, what are you dreaming about?
He is suspicious of his own arousal and doesn't know if he should trust it. And so, like, that happens. They walk in, like, so pretty, but are you? So pretty, but are you?
Talking about referencing my twat show thoughts, this is actually a scene I kind of want to see.
Oh, fuck yeah. Like, the idea of him being, like, all twisted and, like, fucking like a haggard and fuck.
You know, like in the Lord of the Rings movies when they're like, yeah, and they want the ring and they freak out, like when like Bilbo is like reaching for, like, I sort of want similar to that, but not as blatantly demonic or whatever.
Yeah, I want to see the part where Moraine tells everyone to stay away, and then he tries to stab her, and Lan grabs his arm.
Yeah, because Tom, my notes were literally Lan Batman's. That's it. Actually, Lan describes it as like Lan was across the room, and suddenly Lan was holding Matt's wrist out of nowhere, as if the intervening space didn't exist.
It didn't. Joke's on you, man.
Tom, did you just unzip your zipper?
I zipped it up.
Oh, so you're putting your wolf dick away.
Wolf dick away.
Well, I mean, I showed you I put it on mute, and then I showed you the view of the urinal. I thought you'd figure out what was going on.
Yeah, so Matt tries to kill Moraine with a dagger, which is simultaneously horrifying and awesome because Lan stops it, and it's kind of crazy and shows how insane he is.
I just think it's like one of those kind of like, it's a very kind of like up and down view, right? Like we've been waiting for this kind of like orgasm of they're all back together, right? And then as we talked, a few people are, Tom's dead actually. Matt,
I like how he's like, Tom's dead. Maybe we don't know.
Yeah, we
think he's dead.
Yeah, the amount of like, well, fuck this. Like, it's not the reunion you're expecting. Mm-hmm. And so it's a very kind of, like, for each character, it's almost cathartic. Like, we see you. And then how have you been? Like, oh, fuck me. Let's see. Aram fucked Egwene. Sorry, Rand. Fucking wolves. Sorry, Rand. Rand's been fucking Elaine. Sorry, Egwene. Like, no one's happy.
They've been apart for like 2 weeks.
I know. They act like it's an eternity, and really is nothing.
It's been 2 weeks, and we've all fucked someone else.
Like if we had to cancel the podcast for next week for whatever reason, and then we called each other 2 weeks later, and we were all like divorced and we lived in different states. And I fucked wolves. Me and Lindsay got divorced. Why? I fucked a dog, and I like it.
I found a knife in my cupboard. I went insane, killed my wife. No big deal.
Joe's a murderer. I'm fucking dogs.
What am I?
I guess Jono. I guess means
you're
you just
going
got
to be a
married to,
channeler.
I think that means you got married to Paris Hilton.
Damn it.
Because that is the real world.
Gay.
That is the real world equivalent of Elaine.
I agree with that. That's a good assessment. It's a little dated, but it counts.
I'm old.
So Moraine explains how the dagger is drawing the dark friends to them like a magnet, and I was just like, that's fucking hilarious. Like Rand and Matt have just been running. They're like, oh yeah, it was crazy. There's dark friends everywhere. They're all after us. And she's like, it's because of the dagger, you idiots. She's like, oh shit.
That makes sense. It's like every time I turn my head, because I was running with what's pretty much just a giant banner of fuck me, fuck me, fuck me, fuck me. Huh. Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I think there's Trollocs outside the city. Oh, they're Trollocs. And there's like 2 fists of them. And when they get enough people, they're coming in. It's going to be crazy.
Try to get 12 fists.
Oh, 12?
Yeah.
I was going to say, because 2 doesn't seem like a lot.
No, 12 does. You can ask my vagina.
Hey, trust me, 1's a lot. Wait, are we talking about Trollocs?
Yeah, we're just talking about running to train on some Trollocs.
Okay. I just heard you say 2 fists doesn't sound like a lot. And it is a lot.
It's not.
You may have started a new Trolloc fist war.
Are we ready for the next chapter?
Yeah, Moraine pulls out the Angreal to heal Matt, and that's it.
All right, chapter 42. What's the name of it?
The name of this is Remembrance of Dreams, the worst title of a chapter.
All right, so the group meets Loyal. Matt is healed-ish. They catch up and realize they're all Taviran, and they have to go to the Eye of the World. Moraine decides they need to take the ways.
I have a question. Instantly.
Yes.
In the 4th paragraph of this goddamn chapter, it said, second sentence, not many travelers use the library. Most of those who could read stayed at more elegant inns in the inner city. What the fuck?
What's wrong with that?
People who can read pretty much stay in the inner city? So you're telling me that Rand, Matt, Perrin, and Egwene are some like in the fucking 70th or 80th percentile of people because they can fucking read off their backwater city?
No, I think what may be being said there is that people that can read and are seeking books go to the inner city because that's where all the books are.
Doesn't say that.
Maybe this inn is a very odd, an anomaly.
That is a good point. Just because I don't feel like we ever run into anybody throughout the entire series that's illiterate.
Yeah.
We do plenty of them, Tom. They just don't talk about it because it's rude.
I mean, we do see a lot of inns that don't have any name on the outside, and it's just a drawing of like a dick and a vagina, but
dancing carpet. But like, and you know what, Tom, to your point, there's a lot of times where we see like instead of I'm a tailor, it's just a fucking thing of scissors.
Yeah, or it's like 9 horses hitched to a vagina.
True. But they, like, anyone who can read, you kind of expect inner city. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but it's weird and maybe like retconned later.
It makes more sense to me that in a small town where a few people can read, everyone can read, whereas in the city, like, there's probably tons of people that can't read.
But I would think in the city matters more because you all have to interact. Like, there's got to be a reason for it.
There's no like.
Well, I'm sure a lot of the Bagars
universitats, you know.
But like, you know, like what Tom is going for, like, is the fact that like, what's the point of being able to read in the tubes?
You're bored.
go fuck. In Caemlyn. Like,
Dad, I'd like to learn how to read. Go fuck a sheep, you piece of shit. I'm busy right now.
Good talk.
If you're in a group of 10 people and one person can read, they could show the other people how to read. If you're in a group of 1,000 and one person can read, maybe 100 other people know how to read.
True, but do any of these people want to do it just because you can do it? No, they want to do it because there's a function, there's a reason.
Not a lot. When does reading come up as a need to live? It's not that frequent.
When does reading come up as a thing to do when you're bored? Not that frequent. There's only 10 books.
In a small town.
Towns.
Like, basically, the Two Rivers is like if you had the coronavirus. Everyone's just at home doing nothing. They're trying to read books.
Wrong. Put on Netflix. Moving on.
Well, who else can read? I mean, like, Matt can read, but, like, can he read that well? Like, he even says, like, he doesn't like to read. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like half the reason Matt says he doesn't like to read is because he can't read very well.
That's kind of what I'm saying.
I read it all.
Like, how many of them can read? I mean, you're saying, like, everyone from the Two Rivers can read, and I'm like, can they?
Perrin can read, but he reads like a 5-year-old sounding out the words.
Perrin, the whole time, Perrin thinks they think he's slow is because he takes a long time to think his thoughts out, but really it's because they watch him read.
Whoa, wall. Wolf. That's what happens with him.
It's Wolf Parrot. Jesus Christ.
I wish I just had my hammers and my bird pussy.
Just hammers that fucking down. Bird.
It is weird that a wolf likes to fuck birds. Is that weird?
No. Yes.
So Parrot immediately asks about the steading because he's like, hey, is that actually a sanctuary? What's going on there? Tell me more about it, Loyal. Not
Which
that I
is
need
weird,
to hide from anything.
You were just in one, dude.
Yes, which is why he's so emphatically wondering if that's where he should be from now on.
What I find interesting here, by the way, is that Loyal's been out of studying Shanghai for 3 years. What has he been doing? And I'm sure I asked this last time.
Slowly walking, as slow as he talks.
I mean, he does explain. He always mentions a few places he's been here and there throughout the series. Like, oh yeah, before we met, I was here, and before we met, I was there.
Tyr, Ilion. You know what? Guess what? Rand goes to literally every corner of this goddamn map in less than 3 years.
Oh, he can travel.
Yeah. You know, later.
He walked the same distance.
He also has that IL runner's blood.
He did it in less than 6 months. Not like, fucking. God damn.
Loyal keeps up with Gaul later, Tom.
Some people are just natural jumpers.
That's racist.
It's racist.
I meant runners. Wait, is that racist too?
So Matt comes in after he's newly healed, but not really. And he's like, he gives his most amazing and best apology ever by not really saying
it. This is the most humble. This is the most humble this guy has ever been, ever. And we never see it.
Well, at least to this point. At least we kind of see it later, but no, you're right. I like how Rand immediately notices that he still has the dagger, and he's like, "What the fuck, Moraine?" And she's like, "Whoa, listen, bro, you don't know shit about what you're talking about, and that could kill him, and I can't take it away. He needs more than just me or any Aes Sedai. He needs to go to Tar-Valon."
It'd be very important because it can be there early part 3 of the series, and he'll be one of the amazing fucking viewpoint characters. Good talk.
Finally.
By the way, and it upsets me to say it, at least in my copy, massive and annoying factual error happens, by the way. Moraine mentions that there's 20 Aes Sedai in the city.
And all of them Red Aja?
All Red Aja.
Yeah.
We know that's bullshit. Because Rand sees a bunch of warders flanking the Logain's thing.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that there's not more Aes Sedai.
They would still conceivably
there are
send
only 20 Aes Sedai.
She says there are 20.
They might also send warders with the army, regardless of what Aes Sedai were going.
That's also a fair fucking point.
I think it's just, you know what? Maybe, but I think it's bullshit. I don't
see the point of sending a warder without his Aes Sedai also there. It seems like they're much stronger together. But
thank you, Tom. I mean, really,
I'm just saying it's possible.
To a very awkward degree, sometimes the point of sending a warder to battle is it's almost like fishing so that an Aes Sedai can actually attack because she can't attack beforehand.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's
maybe 10 of those Aes Sedai that are red are actually black.
There might be some there may be some Aes Sedai in Caemlyn that are just like, man, I'm sick of this guy. Go fight the false dragon. I'm sure you'll live.
Good luck.
I'm going to stay here. I definitely don't have my eye on that handsome guy in the practice yard. You just go fight this guy that can channel without me. It's going to be fine.
Where was Lugain captured?
It's going to be fine. The Reds are there. They'll totally protect you. They like dudes.
Oh, yeah. They love guys.
So I do enjoy, by the way Rand tells his story about Elida, just piece by piece of kind of like, that's not what Elida said. I mean, I only saw her because I fell into a wall. Well, I fell into a wall.
Hey, no reason. No reason that's important.
I did that because I haven't gotten laid in 3 weeks. I did that because Egwene's being cut.
Wait, where was Logain? Where was Logain captured? On his plane? Farmatting?
I don't know.
Where were we?
The Loyal introduces himself to Moraine.
Loyal has done so much, so many times. Like, hi, I'm the really nice guy who's never done anything wrong with you, who just really wants to hear and learn about your life. Like, get the fuck out. You look like a Trolloc. Like, poor guy.
Yeah, Moraine immediately meets him and uses him. And also, it's based on the fact that she knows he's not going to lie to her. Like, he could just be like, no, I don't know anything about the way. Sorry, you're screwed. But she's like, you know how to get through the ways, don't you? I imagine you do. And he's like, yes, I do.
Maybe she wants to bring him along because he's like, they're all Taverns. You're like, how did I not see that?
Yeah, maybe.
You dumb bitch. I mean, I'm sorry.
Well, she does kind of like take a note when Rand is like, well, I promised him he could come with us. And she's like, okay. You know, kind of thing, like, all right, I have my own reasons for saying okay, but all right.
So we kind of glossed over the point here that Loyal tells, the truth about, or the story about someone coming into Stenning Shangtai, and that Dane Farstrider, of, the Eye of the World. Perrin goes, hey, that's weird. That reminds me of the story of what the Tinkers told us about the Eye of the World, to which the three Taveran look at each other and go like, not to overcommit and say the fact that the devil is invading my dreams, but
I guess it's time.
I guess we should have said, like you asked, literally the first time we got to Barrelon. Devil's all infiltrating my dreams too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wait, do you guys not regularly hang out with the devil in your dreams?
Yeah, like real, like dreams where you interact.
Because I do like a lot, but I didn't know if that was. I thought it was just me. Are you guys doing that too?
And what I love, and like,
also, I found this new knife and I love it. Do you guys like how it looks? It's so good.
That memory from one of the dreams in Barrelon, like the names of the false dragons.
Yeah,
these are false dragons, like dickhead who claimed he was a false dragon and then got killed half later. Like Davian, Guire Absalon, Urias Stonebow. These are literally, like, they're called later like the names that shook the heavens. Like these are people of fascinating importance, and like some of the, they're in the the big white book, like the World of the Wheel of Time books. Some of them are, and like these are people that really, they're not evil. I mean, I guess technically.
Would you want to read their stories?
That's kind of where I was going.
Short story?
Long story. I go long story, man.
Like a one-off novel about one of these guys?
Maybe.
What about a one-off novel, like with short stories of all of them in it? That would be cool.
That would be
Fuck.
interesting.
Yes.
Like a Way of the Altai, like
from Ishmael's point of view, maybe.
like every chapter is from Yuri and Stonebow's perspective.
Let's go back to what Tom just said.
That would be
Holy shit.
fascinating.
That would be like, again, like there's no one's writing that, but that's a way cool.
No one's writing it yet, Jono.
You know what? Maybe there is. I don't know what fanfic looks like, but that is a legitimately cool fucking idea.
That would be really awesome. I do like how when they're talking about, like, when he's mentioning the White Cloaks and the Dark Friends and Elida's story, and you met a queen and all that stuff, and he's just like, Perrin's just like, yeah, we hung out with some Tinkers and White Cloaks, and he's like, Tinkers and White Cloaks? You hung out with White Cloaks? And he's like, yeah, I don't want to talk about it right now.
Hang out with the village people? Did you sing YMCA?
Young Perrin, put your hand on the floor and say, young Perrin. That's not quite the way it was. There's more blood, nooses. Yeah, it's the same idea.
So Moraine kind of recognizes, like, the Dark One means to blind the eye of the world. It's come up like 3 times. She's starting to recognize, like, oh, they're all Taviran. Like, how interesting that we're stuck in this city surrounded by Trollocs, but now there's a way out and also a way to go, or a place to go to, because it's reached that point. It's pretty cool.
I do.
What would they have done with that well of the power if the Dark Friends had got there first? It's
I don't know. Yeah.
I think
I think it'd be more of like not letting
extend the blight.
You can't have it kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's more like exactly, like not letting Excalibur get in the hands of King Arthur kind of thing. Like, you just don't. Like, once it happens, it means that it's happening.
Plus, we gotta remember what's in there, though. Is
they just wanted that horn.
Yeah, the banner and the horn. Exactly. The banner and the horn are the 2 things that are in there. So Rand would never really, been able to have the banner. Not that really means that much. But
doesn't it?
The banner is really important, Jono. I don't know if you remember episode 4 of tWoTcast, but the banner is important.
How fucked up was I? Well, we'll talk about it later. But
episode 4.
God damn.
Is that right?
Yeah, we covered this entire book. Oh, I'm sorry, episode 8.
Okay. I was like, Jesus Christ.
We covered all of the Eye of the World and the Great Hunt in 8 episodes, which is crazy. But I was saying 4, which is even more insane. But,
how do we do those 2 books, 4 parts each, 2 hours an episode, yet we can't get through 4 chapters in less than 5 hours?
I'll tell you why, because there's 8,000 more things to talk about than we have Jono on our podcast.
Yeah, it's my fault.
He was there.
Tom, just but do you know how much he wanted more to talk about stuff? No one I really appreciate for this extended review of the Eye of the World so far, how deep dived we went into the hake rape scenario. I mean,
that's true. I'm really excited about all of it.
Yeah.
So let's get into some important shit here, by the way. This is some important shit. First off,
don't let him make you his. Rand thinks Moraine is going to use him as false dragon.
No, god damn it. Maybe. Perrin, if Moraine mentions like we've all had bad dreams, and like Matt and Rand are like, yeah, we've had bad dreams, and Rand and Perrin's like, I got protection. She's like, yeah, that's right, we got protection. So Moraine knows a lot. Somehow, like, she's a very well-read Blue Aja for having never been at the goddamn White Tower.
She knows, purpose. Maybe all she knows about is condoms that work on wolfcock.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's a sheepskin. Jono, I don't know if you knew that.
Nitrile, yeah.
He's like, I've got protection. She's like, we know all about your sexual escapades, you fucking red rocket.
You know that old saying.
We're trying to talk about the eye of the world.
Yeah, get your shit together, dude. No one cares. Like, your dick looks weird. Not as weird as that guy.
That's where wolf in sheep's clothing comes from, guys.
So then Moraine wants to use, like, he's worried about, like,
a wolf and a sheep's pussy?
Dragon. I love that Rand puts together all the names.
Sheepskin condom, Tom. God damn it.
What kind of fascinates and annoys me is the fact that, like, Rand is sitting here saying, like, oh, I'm a little concerned based on a, dream with incredibly crazy Balzamon.
Balzamon.
Moraine wants to use me as a false dragon. Like, no, dude. She wants to use it as a real dragon. Like, how did you miss that leap? Like, why did you never even cross your mind? This is literally the most important person.
Well, he definitely doesn't think he's the real dragon.
I think he does, and he just blacks it out.
I don't think he does. I think if anything, Tom's right, and he's still in denial. Like even if he thinks he can channel, which I'm not even 100% sure he does think that yet.
We'll take that.
I think he thinks that he can just channel.
That's already a leap.
He's not the dragon.
I don't think it's a leap, I don't think it's a leap.
It's not a leap per se. I don't know.
I'm sure at this point he's afraid he can possibly channel, or one of them can.
Yeah.
I think he's afraid that one of them can. And I think he has an inkling.
Hey, you know what? One of us is definitely Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
My guess, by the way, Parent. You just get the bigger beard. How'd I do?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, his beard goes all the way up his wolf shaft.
Wolf shaft.
That's a good point too. Jesus would never be a ginger.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
In a white church, makes sense. So anyway,
in a white cloak power.
The cloak. Hey, you said it wrong. The cloak is silent.
Oh, sorry. In a white power.
Yeah, that's better.
So Gween's crying over here like a bitch. Well,
yeah, hey, Joe, you know when you say white is right, but you don't pronounce the G in right?
Yeah.
It's like that. So it's white power. You get it now?
Yeah, I get it.
All right, good.
Keep drilling Jono as long as possible. This is much funnier.
Don't worry about me. I've literally finished a fucking bottle of whiskey.
I'm having a really good time.
To a certain extent, the longer I take before I walk out, the better for me. Because my plan is to try to sodomize my wife, and I'm going to fall asleep instead.
Hey, I'm wearing my tWoTcast shirt, by the way. And you know what my daughter did today? She sat up on the table in front of me and said, "Dada." But she pointed to Jono.
How did she know?
And then I was like, no.
I hope not.
That ginger piece of shit is Jono. This guy in the middle here, that's your dada. And this guy over here is Uncle Tom. And then she pointed at Jono again and said, dada.
Is it better if Tom's the dad?
No.
By the way, I'm drinking out of the twat Barmaster drink.
Hey, the Barmaster glass. That's the heron marked glass, Jono. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to say.
I'm drunk.
So loyal, can you take us through the ways? No. If we go into the ways, we'll all die or be swallowed by a shadow. And that's the end of the chapter.
Well, I think that there's an important part here is that.
Yeah, I was going to say something, but then I realized Jono was going to say more things.
Of course.
Exactly.
So the only reason they really choose to go there, like that, not they, but Moraine chooses to go there is because she thinks that the Green Man needs to know that.
The Green Man? Is he Jewish?
The Green Man. Yeah.
We got to go to the Blight and see the Green Man. He's got beggars there.
You want to go see the Green Man and Spider-Man?
Green Man and Spider-Man. No, but they want to go see the Green Man.
Herschel P. Green Man.
Green Man.
Oh. Who is, of course, the fighter of the
Blight, I guess.
Blight Man. He's the champion of the sun. For everyone. Green Man.
He's also a master of friendship and karate. Come on, dude. For everyone.
For everyone.
Green Man. So that's really the only reason Moraine thinks to go there is because she's like, the Green Man needs to know. We should probably protect the eye of the world.
The Green Man knows.
Green.
Yeah, little do they know when they get there. Green Man already knows. He's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Also, thanks for coming by. You're about to kill me.
That's sad.
My time is done. You know what I really want to see in the show? Also, Logan in a cage, cackling like a madman. Is that what you think he's going to laugh like, Jono?
Yeah,
Is that how you sound?
Yeah, it's a direct quote.
I think it's going to be like a deep belly laugh. Yeah, like closer to like an evil Santa Claus.
Ah, all right.
I enjoy watching Joe's face that looks like someone who may or may not have has an orgasm foiled by like his dad calling at the same time.
Definitely.
Anything stand out in this episode that you guys want to see in the show that we haven't already talked about, that is?
Yeah, I got to be that douchebag. I guess the answer is all of it. But realistically, all you want to see is Bran talking to Matt, seeing the beggar, running away, climbing the wall. I'm about to just the whole plot.
You know what? That's a really good point, though, because I love the guy they cast for Patton Fane. He looks like he can do maniacal crazy really well.
Yeah.
But man, how interesting is his bizarre transformation going to be when he's like covered in rags and just dirt and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be like the guy acting as Gollum but without the CGI, just crawling around on the ground.
Honestly, for this type of chapters, for this
oh shit,
I have a hard time finding anything in this bit of chapters to cut out.
Yeah, I think that. Well, I think that's kind of the point. Like this is kind of an integral area of time.
And like,
it's everybody meeting back up, and it's introducing a lot of main characters to the book or to each other.
I'm trying to think what you can actually skip. Like, you can skip a few pieces of the conversation. Yeah, you can skip a little bit of kind of like
I don't necessarily think everything we've talked about will take a lot of time on screen, but I think
not at all.
For the most part, it all needs to be there.
This can definitely be a half episode piece where if you just have him doing it, you have these things happen, you have him, you've got to get some gravitas obviously to when he falls in, and you need to actually show him being marched
and the throne room scene and the reuniting.
I mean, where we just
here's the
ended
thing though, like in terms of the show, in terms of what I and the episodes or the part of the book that we've covered so far, like the amount of stuff that I want to see, I feel like is already like bordering on 4 or 5 episodes. So like a good chunk of it's going to be cut, and I'm just going like, well, where are they making the cuts? It's going to be interesting to see it.
Well, honestly, they're going to end up making the cuts because they're going to probably change a bunch of the story.
Right. Yeah. So I guess
not a lot of other ways to do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're going to take away from the next chapter.
Where we just ended would be a good. Well, I was going to say a good place to end an episode, but it would also be a great place for a commercial break. But I guess Amazon doesn't have those.
No, not really. Yeah.
Because of COVID-19.
COVID-19 took our commercials away.
All right, well, let's finish that.
You can't advertise for anything. Go to McDonald's. You can't.
Go to McDonald's with their arches slightly separated.
Well, you got to keep them separated.
Oh, yeah, not slightly separated, 6 feet apart. So that's tWoTcast for this week. If you have any comments or questions, the best way to find us is on Twitter at tWoTcast.
Listen wherever you get your podcasts. You can email us at twotcast@gmail.com.
This is relatively new to our outro, and I don't know if it sounds stupid. You can join us in conversation on our Discord server, permanently linked on the top of our Twitter profile. I don't know if there's a better way to get to Discord.
I don't have that on my scripts, Jeff.
Oh, I added it. Sorry.
I don't either. Yeah. This is not real.
But the point is we're on Discord now, and all we're really doing there is it's kind of like a group text thread right now. But other than that,
we're figuring it out.
We're figuring it out, yeah.
I would say right now, if you go there, it will be like a barren wasteland with tumbleweeds rolling by.
Which is what I don't like to judge.
Essentially, it is. But we need to talk about it more because we keep forgetting to talk about it, and no one's going to know we're on there until we say it.
I have to turn on my alerts for that too. I don't get notifications.
Yeah, I keep messing that up too.
We're on Patreon now. That's at patreon.com/tWoTcast, also with an O. if you enjoy the show, help us out and give us. Script is wrong. To help us out and give us $1 million. And of course,
Hey Tom,
yeah.
Before you go on, I just hopped on our Discord, and on the Cape channel, Willie Stickman just popped on and said, "I'm going to try and start watching this show." It's very important. We're talking about the Cape here.
I'm going to need a lot more than that.
Yeah, not just start. You're going to finish watching.
The key is the conversation got moved further in the Cape category, which is I would assume, going to be a very seldom used category.
If people start talking about the Cape, that's the only thing I'll talk about.
tWoTcast theme song brought to you by the one, the only, the incredible Taffy Bennington. At Sing with Taffy on Twitter and Anarchy 101 on YouTube.
And join us next week for the Wheel Time Book 1, The Eye of the World, Part 12, covering chapters 43 through 46.
Or maybe a live Jordan Con episode. We don't know.
Yeah, one or the other. You've been listening to Jono. Joe.
Keep the change, you filthy animals.
I'm Tom, study your math.
All right, everyone shut the f*** up.